and their overall win-loss ratio in the past. It's a little bit muddy, of course, but we can take a deeper dive into that later, as it's time for map number 1, folks. It's on Oregon between these two teams. Let's go in and take a look at the bans.
All right, well, pretty fiery map pool that we have here in between these two. Broken down well on the desk, but we might as well jump into it while we're waiting for these bans to get through. Oregon was last played between these two teams, as Jesse had talked about, but it was both the old squads, eUnited's old squad and Tempo's old squad as well. Oh, I'm going to pause right where I'm talking right now. By the way, that matchup, July 15th, so not that big of a deal, but Ash being banned here, that's a huge thing, and you guys might be wondering exactly why. It's because of Creators. Creators is just a completely different animal inside of the same beast when he's on Ash.
So it's going to knock that out and hopefully cause some uncertainty for Creators with a play style at the minimum, since we'll have to jump onto a different operator. Melusi is going to be our first defending operator knocked out. Melusi has been very annoying to deal with, continuing to slow down the attacker meta, as it's been, kind of that issue's been kind of compounding on itself over the last few months. So that's a pretty common ban that we've been seeing. And then finally, Maestro is going to be our final ban. Echo's knocked out, so you might as well get rid of the other one and just not have to deal with those very pesky cameras, which can sometimes be hard to get rid of.
A very smart ban there, and I've liked that we've been seeing it a lot throughout the league. With Echo off the board already, taking away Maestro, not only makes the defense have to open up the playbook much wider, but you take away that, absolutely horrendous weapon to try and deal with when you're on the offense. Nobody wants to try and peek into an Alda, especially when it's someone that just wants to water hose every single angle. So removing him from the board, pretty good thing for possibly both of these teams on offense when it comes to attacking Oregon. First site that we're going to be headed to, though, is Kids Dorms and Dorms Main Hall. We already have a 6 pick coming in for the defensive Tempo Storm as well. We're going to drop the Clash and pick up the Castle, so it could be seeing some pretty unique things here. We've been seeing some fresh looks here recently on this site, John. Most notably, the deployable shield inside of Master that we saw never really got used, but also a setup inside of Armory with those castle barricades. Let's see if this follows suit in any capacity.
We've been starting to see the overall meta for this map evolve more and more, of course, since the rework was patched. Everything started out pretty basic, but specifically over the last few weeks with the Echo permaban coming in, we've started to see a few more creative additions to that, because the overall operator pool, I think, has been opened up a little bit more, and that's opening more options for teams. So we're going to see quite a few of these castle barricades, at least one of them going down on the Armory hallway, one on that Armory window as well, so that is going to open up some possible play capability for an extended roam here. Right now, it looks like Creators is just setting up utility for it, but it's very likely we could see a player stick around if they want to try and be a little bit more aggressive off the bat here to deny some additional map control away from eUnited.
Okay, so there's a lot of things going on here, so let's jump into this. So Tempo Storm's hold here, instead of holding down Attic with what we've seen before with my discs and the shield, they have instead chosen to break up a lot of lines of sight, excuse me.
That's
same
light,
difference,
so.
right? Hey, Anyways, these castle barricades are going to assist Tempo Storm in this, and the most notable one is the one holding down Master. If EU can find a way to get around that, that's going to break up this entire trophy hold here as they're trying to hold down Attic. eUnited, though, mostly spawning at main gate, so it seems as though they really want to try and clear out where Jarvis is currently inside of Armory.
Jarvis actually going to take quite a bit of damage as well from the shotguns being thrown out against him. He's going to get put at under 25 HP. It'll do a little bit of work, take out some drones, but his playbox here is getting smaller and smaller as he continues to move away from his hard-fought position there. He's just lost the window, and eventually Yeti's going to be able to get an angle on him from the main door. Creators, though, will quickly be able to trade that out elsewhere on the map. Seems over here at the bottom of Kid's Stairs. He's going to be able to take down Grixer and stop the Buck from having any more impact on this round.
That's a really, really big pick. And getting Grixer off the board is going to make it where they can't abuse these mirrors from underneath how they were before. So all the soft destruction now leaning on Rexen. Obviously, the other teammates can have a hand in it, but it's not going to be to the same amount or same effectiveness as these other members. eUnited, slightly stumped right now, but just trying to find their way through this thick of the woods. This is something that a lot of teams have not been doing on defense, so eUnited just biding their time, trying to figure out Tempo's exact positioning before they step into a trap, and you can't exactly blame them. They do still have to worry about a member downstairs, Mark, currently on the Legion inside of Split. This flank could work out really well for him late time.
We've got Creators sitting back here. We're here at main dorms, waiting to see if there is going to be any attempts to swing out against his angle. Nothing being presented just yet, though, but we are coming down to that last minute of the round here. eUnited at least from their perspective, seems like they have a lot to work with. And now with that kill, they will. But again, traded out almost instantaneously by the Tempo roster. And that's going to continue to be the storyline here, as now it's down to a 2 versus 1. Kansan alone for eUnited, trying to clutch this out against 2 still standing tall from Tempo. Mark and Crazy are up. One is downstairs. Kansan has heard the rotate coming up through Kids, though. He's going to try to frag him out, but I believe his opponent on the other side might have heard that frag grenade. Either way, it goes in, does some serious damage to Mark, and forces him back. Kansan knows the time is low and he needs to keep moving. Swings around the corner, quickly takes out Crazy, tries to go for 2, but misses this exchange onto Mark there. Now he goes to his secondaries. He's out of ammo on the primary to try and get this double. Wrapping around the corner, the goo mine will give him away when he had the right to initiate for free at the start. And unfortunately, that goo mine will lead to his death, as Mark is given the opportunity to readjust and clutch out the 1v1, giving round number 1 to Tempo.
Lesion may have been nerfed, but he's still just as effective inside of the clutch. That goo mine assisting in so many different ways that no one expected. Great round there from Tempo Storm. An odd selection inside of the utility department there and their setup overall, but it ended up working. It threw off EU's take quite a bit. They mostly centralized around the master area, and they wasted quite a bit of time dealing with a lot of Tempo's not real aggressiveness, but just their positioning, most notably Jarvis. But I'm going to be honest, Jarvis seemed lost once things started to break down inside of Armory. So this seems to be possibly something a little bit newer to the team inside of this setup. Maybe don't have as many reps on it as they would on a different kind of setup, but doesn't matter. Ended up winning the round in the clutch either way. So now we're headed downstairs to see if Tempo can repeat.
Tempo, of course, as Stokes was just mentioning, looking for the double for themselves here. We'll see what type of setup they're going to be working with on the base, and we can already see the half destruction on that extended wall going towards the tunnel. So more than likely, we are going to see play out from there, more than likely from Jarvis's utility, with the Goyo shield being placed on the outside. That's the common play that we've been seeing quite a bit here in the basement anyway. Other than that, pretty usual reinforcements being set up on the basement. And of course, the hatch work already being done by Mark is going to leave Tempo in a pretty good position once again to defend things. United very much aware of this. They're going to be let out of the gates in just a second, so we'll see how they'll choose to start their attack.
Pretty rudimentary setup here from Tempo Storm as opposed to what we were seeing prior. I mean, we are going to see some fresh things, I guess, as Crazy is going to be muting the double wall facing towards the pillars area here for Mark. More than likely to make it to where nobody can try and put any Kairos down or anything to try and deal with Mark here, but obviously Hibana has been banned out, so any kind of hard destruction really through that hatch to get rid of Mark as he plays for construction. Nevertheless, though, eUnited now out on the field. Looks like we're going to be going about things in a regular manner here, as most of eUnited is centralized around Big Tower. Probably just going to get the meeting hatch and then check off the rest of the boxes. They still have to worry about quite a few members of Tempo Storm downstairs right now, though. Since we do have the Wamai and Jaeger in play, this is going to be the main area where a lot of this utility is centralized around. So a lot of the throwables for eUnited are going to be focused on this pillar/construction area.
See that hatch over above electrical should be opening up any second now due to the Maverick Torch. Mark, of course, now still patiently waiting for aggression to swing itself down those back stairs. He's going to be the main force here to try and stop this. A little bit of trouble with that hatch, but like I said, it should be getting opened any moment regardless, even with the quirks that come with trying to opening it with the Maverick Torch. Mark, again, still waiting for his chance to shine here, but other than that, no real developments. United kind of waiting for their own angles to be set up here before they try to move forward. They've got plenty of time, too. That's one thing. Tempo hasn't been relying too heavily on a roam game, so United is now, because of this situation, not really ever going to find themselves where they're stressed for time, or they shouldn't anyway. Rexon finally tries to make the push down the back stairs. Mark will hold in that engagement, and he has additional support to fend off that second player that is more than likely going to push down back stairs in a second, too. Which it looks like that's been canceled. United have fallen back for a moment here, and they're going to regroup before trying it again.
Oh no, I'm really starting to lean into what Jesse was saying on the desk. eUnited's first set here, or first burn attempt, goes down at 120. As they're still trying to fight their way into sight. They have top control here, but there's so many forward positions for Tempo Storm, and Mark's just going to keep the ball rolling here. Almost gets two, but we might see another swing yet to come. Kansan able to trade it out, but yet he needs to work down the staircase and get pillar control. Very minimal time left here for eUnited to make this execute work, and Jarvis is still in a forward position. He's still up behind his Goyo shield inside of construction. Still discs up from the Wamai as well of Mark, as he's already had 2 kills. Grix is going to get lit up from the vector of Jarvis. Nitro Cell out. Can it get any kills? No, not even a ticket damage either, as Grixer and Kansan whisk back and forth inside of the construction area. Now with Pillars control, though, as the Goyo shield is going to go off and Crazy smokes Kansan on the peak. Case picked up by Grixer now as it's down to him and Yeti in the last 15 seconds. Don't have too much time on the clock as Yeti tries to force, but the M590 is just that much better. Exactly what you'd expect from the shotgun inside of that close range. Grixer now inside of the 1v4, but once again, the sniper rifle. The M590 takes down Grixer, and that's going to be it. Tempo Storm now up 2-0.
We do get some clarity there from Yeti about what may have been happening with the electrical hatch as well, since, we saw them working on that for quite some time. He claimed apparently it did bug itself out, which could have contributed to their incapability to set up proper angles to push that. Very unfortunate, but we'll continue the play regardless, as Tempo holds a strong 2-0 right now, and they'll move over into meeting and kitchen next for round number 3.
We'll go with the obvious bugged hatch, which is going to change up a lot of things on that take, especially since they dedicated a lot of time to it. Like that torching was going on up until right around the 120, 110 mark. You can still adjust across, but the bad thing is that they didn't have any of the hard breach to try and handle security hatch. So if they rotated all the way to go for a freezer main take instead, they wouldn't have the utility required to get it done. So they had to dedicate themselves to that construction take. So for those of you at home that are going, well, why didn't they just switch sides if it was bugged? That's exactly why. They were fresh out of utility, fresh out of ideas, and, well, at the end of the day, fresh out of life. So Tempo Storm up 2-0 right now, all apparently due to a bugged hatch, which isn't the most amount of fun, but eUnited still have a lot of chances. And, folks, it is Oregon. It's very defender-sided, even though we still have the, usual bans that we see on the offense up.
All right, guys, so still going to see some reinforcements going on upstairs, as you should very well know, but just in case you don't, as is often the case with siege sites, when you're playing on a middle floor, even a basement floor, it is sometimes very important to hold the floor above it, or even sometimes below it, for tactical advantages, and in this case, it's just the capability of preventing a bunch of top-down play through that hatch or through other avenues as well that the attackers may be able to use against you, especially for anchors, if they're given access to that very early on in the round.
Attackers have located a bomb.
All right, well, yet again, Tempo cracking open the book here. Mark all the way in T3 on Big Tower right now. He is the Wamai once again. Does have that AUG, and he's made good use of it so far throughout this series. Doesn't seem like eUnited want to tussle with it, though. Might not have any information on it just yet either, as we are still in the beginnings of the round. This intel game working out decently for eUnited so far, as they've been able to contest some angles, but Tempo Storm just winning them out for the most part.
It's going to be a pretty quiet start to the round, as it looks like eUnited spending a lot of time kind of setting themselves up for the initial push. Obviously, as we can see before us right here, quite a few of them going to be working their way in through small tower. A group of 3 to 4, in fact, with the fourth one going up on the roof, putting some pressure on big window, more than likely. Kansas is going to be able to get himself all the way up to dining hall for free here, just going to pop a small hole, but it's interrupted due to the fact that he got spotted by a camera, which we'll quickly take care of. The damage was done, though. We just wanted to go in there, take out the mute jammer on the other side, and he accomplished that goal nice and easily. So now they can bring Alfama in to do the real heavy lifting here and open up the wall. That indeed is going to be his final destination over the next few seconds. The upstairs players here for Tempo, not really being pressured too much. They've still got a pretty solid hold for themselves. But like I was saying before, that wall, that thing's getting open. So that's the first avenue of attack now available to eUnited if they want to press the envelope here.
Yeah, big kitchen take here, as you were saying. eUnited needs to worry about this upstairs pressure, though, and that's exactly what Grixer is for, is they need to push in up top and handle that situation. As long as the vertical play's still here for Tempo, then they can't put a diffuser down, and as long as Creators is alive, I don't think you're going to get it done. Yeti and Grixer already off the board, and that's all that top pressure done and dusted. Well, all up until Rexon ascends the white stairs, is able to at least get a refrag, at least one of them, to try and bring things back, but eUnited still down a man. Need to get a lot of things figured out here. With Grixer and Yeti off the board, that's quite a bit of utility that they could use to get rid of a lot of these electronics for Tempo Storm, as well as the vertical play from the Buck. Down to some grenades, as well as some breaching charges on Rexon, but just not worrying about their angles. Mark, very sneaky, my friend, as you move up the white stairs here, or excuse me, the freezer stairs, but it doesn't really matter. Rest of Tempo Storm all over the board. Round 3 in their back pocket after a botched execute upstairs by United.
That top freezer stairs position is starting to become a problem for like late round pushes here. I've noticed that quite a few times over the past couple days in these matches, that there's been a lot of people getting caught off by not checking that, just because it's kind of, I guess it's a position you don't necessarily assume someone's going to be holding an angle from, so it seems to catch people more often than not over the past couple days at least. So
The update to Oregon has made it to where the roam presence downstairs is paramount to your round. So when Mark gets into any trouble, or anybody gets into any trouble, there's a lot of hatches inside of, especially like the kitchen security area, where you can drop downstairs and get out of wherever you are. And obviously, since it's the basement of Oregon, you have 3 separate staircases to go up, and there's no way they're going to be able to keep track of them, all of them. You know what I mean? So Mark with just a really, really nice play there. You really can't be too hard on Rexon for that one, but I mean, Mark's adjustments, as well as Tempo's adjustments overall on these defenses so far, proven to be actually very strong. It seems that eUnited has a little bit of the Tempo syndrome that we saw from Monday, actually.
Well, Tempo will take advantage on the successes that they've had on their first go-around here, and now, of course, get to repeat the site they've already won. Go right back to the upstairs hold here. Usual setups being deployed for them. Should note, of course, we don't have the castle in play this time, and instead I believe we've got the Mira coming into the fold. Although we did have that on the previous hold as well, just correcting myself real quick. This looks like it's going to be a much more standard setup, though, for the hold, based on the reinforcements and the overall setup that's currently going on.
Attackers must locate and defuse a bomb.
They probably just brought the Mira to kind of make eUnited think that something similar was going to happen. We'll see exactly where they spawn, because that's usually the
Oh, they're doing
telltale
this
sign of
thing
what's
again
going on.
with
Yeah,
the bed.
they're doing the what?
They're doing the shield on the bed again.
Oh, Jarvis. Yeah,
Yeah,
this
they
thing.
did this on
I
Monday,
want to
too.
see if this works. Yeah, you and I were talking about it, and the crappy thing was the team that they were playing against at the time didn't end up going for a,
Both times they
tower
walked right
master
past
take.
it.
Yeah, they ended up going for a double take instead, which that seems to be what eUnited kind of wants to do right now, just by their positioning outside. But again, that can change up at any moment in time. Just depends on what intel they get.
Well, Grixer's going to very patiently wait at the side window here to see if he can get an opportunity to catch one of the members of Tempo crossing that angle. We'll, of course, come back to that in the event that he does get lucky and catches someone there. But to start off, once again, just like the last one, things are going to remain very, very quiet at the beginning here. Still quite a few setup angles for Tempo, though, and United be very careful of this. They do not have a winning record right now when it comes to any of these early round picks, and more often than not, they are getting caught by some of these holds from Tempo.
Well, eUnited still on the clear and doing a good job of getting rid of the intel game here for the defense. But a nice shot here from Grixer. He sees Skeleton Keys open. The meeting double, able to take down the man inside of Kitchen. So good beginnings here for eUnited. That entry ability finally shining through as they actually aren't traded back. So big pickups here, but Dream immediately fires back as soon as I say that, and Yeti's the actual one that gets refragged. So some soft destruction off the board, but they still have Grixer, but Mark making it even more troublesome for eUnited as they lose Rexon.
United is continuing, or excuse me, Tempo just continuing to dominate the early rounds here. Once again, is able to trade out despite the initial loss of a player to go down to a 4v5. Now another one's going to go down as well here. Looks like that was Dream that was more likely able to get that pick, as I think I heard an SMG-11 do the damage. So Kansan out, not dead yet, so there's a chance someone can come back and revive him, get him back into the fold here, and still keep United 3 players. But no, in fact, Mark and Crazy are just going to finish off the whole round on their own, and Tempo is going to take a very quick round number 4, continuing to look incredibly strong here on the defensive side of Oregon.
Oh, so very strong. And I think you really have to chalk it up to what Tempo's creating inside of the building for eUnited. There's a lot of randomness that's going on that you don't necessarily see every single time that you play up against a squad. I mean, for instance, the man count is in the favor of Tempo Storm, and Mark's pushing down white stairs to get the last 2 kills. You know what I mean? That's not something that we usually see. Tempo's being more proactive than reactive on defense, and it's throwing off eUnited's entire... well, tempo. I mean, that's really the only way to put it. Tempo Storm is in control of the pacing right now, and they've done a pretty bang-up job of it so far. Let's see if this can possibly continue. 4 rounds down, 2 more to possibly go if they want to perfect this side.
Some very decisive maps today, at least off of the first couple rounds, even going back to our other series, of course, not to spoil anything, but very similar flavor for any of you guys that are planning on watching it later. Definitely looking...
Yeah, mute the video, guys. What are you doing?
Well, I'm not going to continue talking about it, like I said. Maybe not everybody watched that match, so
Oh, good guy Blue.
leave it for them to watch it later if they want to. But yeah, Tempo...
You're such a nice guy. I used to mess that up all the time. I'm like, oh yeah, our previous series.
I mean, to be fair, if you're watching the broadcast, you are kind of like giving up that right if you missed an earlier portion. I'll be
That's your
nice
fault,
today.
right?
Yeah.
Oh man, good talking point here. Mark currently 9-0-1, John. What are you thinking about that?
I mean, that makes sense, right? Continuing what we were seeing from a couple days ago. Obviously, wasn't there for the first map, but when he was able to play in... Oh, that's an interesting bug, if true. Let's see this one. Wait, what?
Okay, so
Mark,
what he
show
means
us.
by I'm in the map, I think he's under the map. I think that's what
Oh.
Yeah.
That's, yep, I think I've seen that one before, so I believe that.
Man. You ever seen that movie Insidious?
I don't think I have seen that one, actually.
Oh,
Is it
well,
it's a
I mean,
scary movie, right? I don't
Yeah,
watch
yeah,
scary movies.
yeah. Yeah, Aster, if you know who Aster
Yeah,
is, was
yeah.
actually part of that movie, yeah. Yeah, that's where he is right now. He's in wherever the hell that red demon thing is. That thing's absolutely terrifying and ruined my childhood. Anyways, back on to topics that actually matter, because apparently that fixed, so we can get back to things that are important. And the hash isn't glitched because Kansas Drone went through it. So very, very cool stuff for eUnited. They have a pretty big chance here as long as that drone or Alfama are not stuck anywhere. But again, doesn't seem to be so. Some smoke grenades in now as Kansan gets lit up.
Potential play could come out from the backstairs play right now. Creators is having a shift between the angles pretty rapidly due to the smoke that was deployed there. So if there was ever a time to try and put pressure on the pillar player, it would probably be right around now. Not seeing it as of yet. To be fair, there is a lot of counter pressure coming from the defenders over towards tunnel, and the back player probably wouldn't want to push just on his own. So I can see why there's a bit of hesitation. Rex still has a pretty aggressive angle, though. Just doesn't want to fully swing in the event someone is watching it. It's a very, very smart but conserved play right now coming in from eUnited here. Mark trying to line up another angle for himself. It's not going to work. Does take out a drone. That's going to be pretty much a wasted one, as it was just chucked out by the player on the back stairs there. And Mark still continues to hold pillar, and he's not alone either. It's good 2 to 3 other players standing nearby here, or at least readily available to join him if the need arises. Mark will swing out, finally kills that backstairs player. We are going to see one successfully drop in from the electrical hatch, but he's going to be stuck in position, not able to move out of that corner due to the fact that either Creators or Mark will immediately swing a second later. And there we go. That player goes down. Mark gets yet another frag against the backstairs push. Creators will take out Yeti, and just like that, we're down to Grixer all over again. He'll finally be able to end the wrath of Mark, but that's all he'll be able to do. Creator shuts it down for tempo, and they take yet another round. 5-0 here on defense.
Okay, Mark is 12-0 on the defensive
He's
side
going
right now.
absolutely crazy, man.
Yeah, and real quick, just for all of you guys at home, if you're a new viewer, this is not a regular thing. Mark ended up dropping 18 on a single map, which was Cafe, on Monday. And let me tell you, this scoreline, oh my goodness gracious, up against the Sonics.
Just go look at the Siege stats, the Siege GG stats.
Yeah,
from the
I got
maps
him
the
right
other
here.
way.
He had a 1.66 rating.
He was the highest rated player on his
86%
team, and he only
cost.
played one map.
86% cost and a 1.29 KPR, John. 1.29.
Some impressive
He killed
stuff.
1.3 people per round. That's incredible. That is so difficult to do inside of Siege. But the main thing that I wanted to talk about with this is a Mark like we've never seen before. This is a Mark off the goop. This man, anything that he touches, someone is dying. He's swinging. He's getting these kills. He's getting these frags. And the best thing about it is it seemed to have ignited creators. He's taking a lot more risky peaks here. He's really playing off of what Mark is able to produce on this defensive side. I'm interested to see how it goes on offense, because defense, this is, let's be honest, kind of an easier thing to do because you are on the defense. You're the one making everything. You know where the rotates are happening, that kind of stuff. You're used to it because it's your setup. But on the offense, it's a lot more on the fly things with the mid-round adjustments and so on. So if Mark and creators are this dominant on the offensive side, oh my goodness gracious. I don't even know if eUnited's going to be able to do anything. We need to see what they can possibly produce once these rounds flip. But right now, tempo, 5 rounds in a row, and we haven't even seen a plant yet from eUnited.
I think if anything, the rapid success of all of the aggression from Mark has kind of caused eUnited to second guess themselves when they establish positioning and are looking to possibly swing into the next room. And that's obviously giving more room to players like creators, because eUnited is being more hesitant. There's more opportunities for the defenders to have success while they're getting aggressive overall here as well. So Mark, obviously, you know, beside the obvious KD ratio, is opening up plenty of opportunities for his teammates as well, due to more than likely how he's changing up the playstyle from eUnited.
Yeah, completely agree with you. I think a big telltale sign of that is the drone economy for eUnited. Every single time we've seen them get stopped and stumped, most of the time, every single member of eUnited is down a drone, or they're muted, or there's something going on where they've redroned a section multiple times. Like, for instance, in that last round, they redroned Pillar, I believe, 3 times before finally trying to contest it. And every single time they did, they ended up losing a man. So they're redroning the same section. Mark's still there, and he's still shooting you in the face. So
Nice.
there's nothing new, and that's more par for the course. Creators inside of dorms takes down Yeti early on.
Creators read that like a book right there. Saw the drone was coming in. He held an angle, so he might have even had advanced intel that a player was coming up the kid stairs. But either way, takes down that drone, immediately swings back to the angle, and takes out the player coming out on top. Great stuff from Creators, and he's going to be able to chain it together. Now he gets the second one. That's going to drop the box as well. Kit goes down right by the door here. And all of a sudden, eUnited are on a recovery mission. They're going to have to get that back. Shouldn't be too massive of a task, thankfully. But either way, much like many, many rounds so far in this map, they are fighting from the back foot yet again.
Going to be very difficult. They do luckily still have the buck, though. No sledge brought this time, but verticality is still going to be somewhat similar. Got the grenades on Kansan as well, so that's going to be a big safety measure there as Creators gets gunned by Grixer through 2 separate levels. Skeleton Key opening up some verticality as he sees down through the hatch into security. Nice pickup for him. Kansan moving over into meeting as the rest of eUnited currently working on that vertical play. They're still trying to figure out how they can possibly get this setup to work for Kitchen. The diffuser's down inside of big tower, or excuse me, small tower, so they're going to have to adjust somebody over to get that. Most of Tempo's Storm currently residing inside of the meeting area as well as holding on to Attic. They're doing such a good job of delaying.
And with only 30 seconds left, there's not going to be much more to delay here pretty soon here. Tempo, despite losing one player, still has complete control over most of the actual site. And as you can see, there's still a player upstairs fighting against them as well. And that's going to get dealt with. Mark does get taken out here by Rex, and Grixer's going to be able to find another one as well. So all of a sudden, just like that, United now have the man advantage. They're going to be able to try and swing this back under their own control. A great frag by Kansan as he follows the Tracers to take out Jarvis. Crazy might deny the plant here, though. Minimum, he takes down the planter by eliminating Kansan. Now 2 remaining. They do make another attempt here for the plant, and thankfully Rexon has the top that he can't touch him. Oh, Rexon gets that kill at the last second anyway, but that was close. eUnited get away with round number 6, and we'll have at least 1 round on the board at halftime.
Oh my god. Oh. All right.
Almost didn't get him there.
That right there, just somebody clip that and just title it, "This is why bars suck," because that's it. The metal beams inside of Siege are the worst things to try and gunfight through in the world. So very lucky is Rex in there as they claim their last round. Not a plant, but still 1 out in that 2v1. So eUnited able to get something to work on the offense, which is a good thing because now Tempo Storm is not on map point, which would mean we would be quickly probably going to Clubhouse.
Ooh.
And okay. There is so much going on here, John. All right, we got a Monty, we got 2 AK-12s, we have a Nomad and a Zofia. So depending on the site that we're going to be going to here, we're going to be in basement.
Oh, no.
All right, so the soft destruction isn't going to be the same for Fuse. Actually, I'll be honest, Mark's pretty much useless here. The only thing that he's really going to be able to have an effect on is if they leave something soft, which he really shouldn't. I mean, most of the flooring up top is hard for this area. He would more than likely have to go horizontal with anything, or if they have a roam game, he could possibly go to the 3rd floor and try and help them in that way. But these cluster charges not going to have too much of an effect. But what can have an effect, though, is that AK-12. Mark has been on an absolute tear so far, 12-0-3. I mean, if he has the AK-12, that could lead to a lot of damage. Mark that up with some Dream Monty as well, and we're probably in for a pretty good time. Let's see what their take is with this lineup.
Even away from Mark, of course, Creator's still having a really fantastic performance, just like on the previous rounds. Read there, where we saw him get those nice kills from upstairs. Obviously didn't end up translating into a win, but still just showcasing some of the great individual performance that's coming out of him, as well as Mark, of course, who's been the highlight of this game so far. Start of the round, though, things are going to go pretty quietly. Tempo kind of surrounding the big tower. They do seem to have some sort of awareness that Rexon is playing nearby, or at least they insinuate that a player might be here. The drones will confirm that over the next few seconds, but it will also give them clarity that they can push into the 1st floor safely, since Rexon has now fallen back deeper into the basement. Away from that, there's a little bit of drone intel on the tunnel, but it doesn't look like Tempo are prioritizing that right now. Big tower seems to be the main and really only point on the map that Tempo is looking to get control of right now.
Well, Tempo working down big tower, as you just said. Drones out, trying to see what the setup is for eUnited. Nice crosses here for EU as well. Kansan going to be holding the pillar position as Rexon plays forward towards construction, but he can always help with those back stairs as well. Good positioning overall. Like the shield setup as well, with these Wamais have the ADSs to assist all of those throwable smoke grenades in, as the pressure should be coming in from the Monty after this clear goes through. And this is going to be extremely effective here for Dream if he can play it out properly. Monty as well as Blitz are actually very good at getting pressure on these shields. And pressure up towards them, make just a very awkward situation for those shield players, whether it's more of a fight or flight situation. You either back up and try and get away from them, or you're probably going to continually get pressure until someone attempts to kill you. Either way, not that fun of a time.
Good way to avoid the annoyance that I think that we've been having here with defenders setting up like such strong angles and then being really hard to pick against, especially against this basement attacks. This could still work out pretty strongly for Tempo if they are able to get the Montaigne to the inside here, because it could be great to tear apart this pillar setup that at least Tempo was working really good back on the last half. Rex is going to try to make a swing on the players sitting behind the Montaigne. Not much success being found there, though. Mark also gets himself out, and as a result of this, the Montaigne's given a lot of freedom to push directly forward, straight up into electrical here. Mark will be supporting this, of course, but Dream, now venturing into the site, is going to begin to get some intel, taking out a few gadgets in the process here since he's got a moment. Now, with that control, I don't see any reason why they wouldn't be able to start pushing in for a plant at some point here in the next 10 to 20 seconds. Dream's already there. He just needs the support to be able to do it.
Oh no, ADS catches, and crazy, that's his last Selma. So they're not going to be able to do anything to that wall. Finally, some destruction going down, but the Toxic Babe going pretty far. I don't know if Dream's being damaged by it, but Kansan's going to step up to see if he can assist. Diffuser goes down now as it's up to Tempo Storm to hold the fort. As, oh my goodness, the flood of EU all over everything is, Alfama stabs Dream right in the heart and sucks the round from his veins. eUnited walk away with their first defensive round here in round 7.
Yeah, great retake by eUnited. I kind of self-doubted myself without realizing that, oh, they didn't have the sidewall open yet. So that was the delay in their actual execute and their actual plant, despite having that position on site, due to the fact that we could have seen the Nitro Cell, or in the case of what we actually saw, the smoke charge get tossed over the top of that shelving unit there, and eventually leads him to be kind of trapped in the site after the plant. Survives until the end, yeah, but not very long after that as he gets stabbed right in the neck, and that's going to lead him out pretty quickly, leading into another successful round for the folks on eUnited. A very much needed one too, as they are fighting from a massive deficit, but it's the beginning of a good start to a comeback hopefully here as they bring the scoreline up to 2-5 and now move up to kids next.
Absolutely. The funniest thing is I didn't know that Alfama got down like that, just stabbed him just right there. That's crazy. I don't really know, but Nice beginnings here for eUnited on this defense, and this is exactly what we needed to see from them. Even though they're down such an extraneous amount of rounds, it doesn't mean that they can't come back. We've seen it time and time again where eUnited are able to stay competitive inside of their matchups, and this is something that we've been talking about not only on the analyst desk, but between you and I, John. I mean, this team, every single time they play against anyone, again, doesn't matter if they're at the bottom or the top of the leaderboard, eUnited always makes it a match. So we'll see if eUnited are able to push this all the way back and either push this to overtime or even win inside of regulation. They still even have that chance.
And if I remember correctly, United has been no stranger to comebacks like this either. I might be misremembering some of the matches, but I think that we've seen some pretty similar situations put before them, even within this stage, and they've been able to bring it to a pretty close scoreline at the end of the day. So we'll see how far United can push this. Tempo are still very much in control, don't get me wrong, but United maybe starting to turn things around a little bit with that last round being played. Take a look at Tempo's opener here. We've got a little bit of aggression being lined up from Yeti, of course, up inside of T3. And we'll see just what he's able to line up for himself here. Doing a little bit of soft destruction, so Mark's absolutely going to hear this. He'll know there's a player in T3 as a result of this. But Yeti's not even alone here. Rexon is also supporting him from down in T2. So if Mark does decide to go at this alone, that could be pretty bad for him if he mispositions himself.
The only thing I wish we had on this overlay would be reinforcements, because I don't know if they have one pocketed. We're about to find out, I guess. Yep, they do. They do. Yeti just tried to reinforce. So he's actually going to start reinforcing right now. Is Mark, I believe, is going to go for down. Possibly a repel or a road sade here. Yeah, but he's actually going to stick inside of tower. Not the worst thing in the world, because they're showing Tempo Storm initially that that's open, but this doesn't even seem to be the main take here for Tempo Storm. Creator's going to burn one of his impacts to get rid of the Goyo shield, so good beginnings here on the utility front for Tempo. Also already have Master Pressure, and this is actually looking quite solid. They actually might be able to cut off a lot of lines of sight here, as well as just make it to where eUnited really can't contest them putting this plant down strictly because of Dream. So we'll see how they utilize this shield going into the later half of this round.
They may have noticed that they don't have any smokes on Dream, but they still have both of them on Crazy. So there's still some impact that can come in from that if they want to use the plan, which more than likely is the plan at this point. We're going to see, of course, the fuse charge come in, doing a little bit of damage to the inside. Doesn't look like it does anything massive, though, besides burning out a bit of the utility sitting deeper on the inside of the site. But Mark can possibly make another run at it here in a second. He knows that it's kind of been revealed here, but he's going to see if he can sneak it on anyways. He still has 2 of those charges left. Might as well try and see if he can sneak one in. It looks like he gets it off there into the big window. That's going to cause some panic for Rexon and Kansan. Looks like they will avoid the large majority of the damage by hiding behind those bunks, and Mark will finally overcommit himself there as he ends up getting into a duel with Yeti. A duel that Yeti will indeed win, taking him down there. Now Dream goes for the plant as well. He's going to try to sneak it into the back of the pool table, or not a pool table, that's a foosball table sitting in the back there. And he'll get it off, or actually, yes, he does get it off there, bringing things down to a 4v4 post plant. eUnited still in a good position here to try and retake, but now they have to bargain it back against the Montaigne and all the rest of the setup from Tempo that's still deployed further back on the site here. Kansan goes down first. Rexon tries to force the issue. He's going to spot the Montaigne. He's going to constantly check his back while he does this, though. Getting quite a bit of damage onto Dream, but not enough to kill him. And now Rexon being kind of trapped in here, waiting for his teammates to come in to assist. They do indeed do that fact. Creator's still hiding right by the breach, though. He can find some massive impact here, too, as I don't know if they realize he's in this position. All the focus goes on to the Montaigne, and Creators leaps out from the dark and takes down Grixer and Yeti to end the round in Tempo Storm's favor.
Very, very strong take there from Tempo Storm. Everything that eUnited had planned early game was to try and slow down Tempo inside of Big Tower, have Yeti do a lot of, kind of weird things. He made some verticality inside of the third floor so he could see the staircases, and there was a lot of other things going on as well. Some ADS is dedicated up there, as well as the reinforcement dipping back and forth, and finally decided to be inside of Big Tower. But for Tempo, that wasn't the plan at all. They just simply wanted master control as well as trophy control and start pressuring around the site, burning all of the utility with Mark. They didn't need any other map control. Mark was specifically there to get rid of everything that they could possibly use to stop any of those throwables, and that's exactly what those cluster charges are so good for now. You have 4 of them, as well as an extra hockey puck on every single one of them. So when it comes to burning ADSs, Wamai discs, I mean, anything that you need to get rid of, Goyo shields, he is the man as long as you're able to have window play like we saw from Mark. Even though he died, he was still so influential over that round. Great stuff from Tempo Storm, and great crosses held inside of that post plant. The thing that was really, really scary just for a second there is we ended up seeing Jarvis get taken down on the flank watch, which was quite scary. Put Creators in kind of a bad position there, but he was able to clutch it out as it appeared that eUnited had lost his positioning as he proned inside of the closet and was able to get that 2K. So good stuff from Tempo Storm overall, and great use of that fuse.
Great hesitation as well from Creators to, kind of realize that, okay, they probably don't know I'm back here, so, let me just actually wait this out, see how it goes.
I just prone.
Yeah, because we have the Maestro in the corner, or not the Maestro, the Montaigne in the corner, so they're going to go for him, of course, and, I mean, that plan works out beautifully. He just gets 2 free kills at the end of the round. Doesn't even do any team damage either, as the Montaigne just has his shield there to eat it all up.
It feels like our rank games last night. It's like if I just prone in the middle of the floor, they'll probably really never know I'm here. Oh man, the thing about FPSs is like prone is actually so broken. That's something that, listen, if you feel like you need to win your gunfights in an easier manner, start proning a little bit more in between when you're peeking your opponent. Changing your head level will assist you a lot inside of those gunfights, and it throws a lot of people off, as well as, just perspective. They weren't able to see him over that little piece of metal at the bottom of the breach, and that's exactly why Creators won that round. Sometimes it's the simple things, folks.
Sturdy campers. How dare they? Going into this round, obviously a lot of drone intel coming from the small tower side, since that is the main execution avenue here for Tempo Storm to start off with. We've got quite a bit of resistance on it, mainly Yeti hiding on the inside of the security room right now. I need to take out quite a few of these drones if they swing around the corner. One just moving in, more than likely did get the spot onto Yeti, so Jarvis and the rest of Tempo should be well aware of the fact that he's in the room just next to them, and will begin working on a plan to get rid of him. They also know about this top-down pressure from the vent, so pretty nice pre-fire from Mark. Is not going to be able to deal much damage, but it actually does do a little bit of damage. Looks like to Alfama there, brings him down to under 50 HP. And it's going to make him second guess peeking that hatch again, if that was indeed him on the other side of that exchange.
Well, halfway through the round now, and the offense from Tempo looking quite strong so far throughout this series. Some change-ups inside of the lineup, though, just for a player-by-player basis. Mark on a lot more aggressive operators instead of playing what we've seen before, which is mostly like Sledge and things along those lines. But now on the Zofia, obviously Zofia can do double duty. Early game, she is going to be that utility op that's there to burn a lot of things, but later on, you're more than likely going to be going for those frags. So let's see if he has the same influence as he has had throughout this entire round or map so far. eUnited still doing a very good job of leaning on that timer, just waiting for Tempo to strike. They're mostly centralized around side, as Tempo Storm already has the flank set up downstairs, as well as the wait here for the vertical play. They don't have a buck, though, so it's mostly going to be handled through these impacts. They will have to worry about Yeti all the way downstairs, though, as he's committing to the rotate.
Alfama's going to begin to chuck out some of these smoke charges here. One's going to get thrown really closer towards the big window, but it's going to be Creators that finds the first mark here after quite a bit of delay in the actual fragging department. Jarvis is quick to follow it up. Grixer will be there for an exchange a moment later as he still holds positioning downstairs, so is going to be able to fend off some of the play that's been coming in here from the Tempo roster. Rexon's going to be able to, in fact, find another one here now. All of a sudden, Tempo's starting to look a little bit weaker, and they have to force the issue. They've only got 10 seconds left in order to make this execute work for them. Alfama, the wide swing, gets him another kill. Rexon adds one to the tally for eUnited as well. Down to just Creators here, and he's also going to fall pretty quickly. Great hold from eUnited. Things were looking a bit dodgy there for a second, but unfortunately, Tempo, unable to establish anything for themselves in the early or mid-round, left them with a lack of time to properly execute, and they fell right into the setup from eUnited.
Yeah, there was a lot to wish for inside of that Tempo round right there. I mean, they got the map control they really, really needed, but they weren't really concerned with eUnited trying to deal with what they were attempting to do inside of Kitchen. So when eUnited eventually rotated, they just cleaned up shop and walked away with the round. There was really no hand that Tempo Storm had inside of that third round here for the defense for eUnited. But after that, Dorms is locked out. We're headed downstairs. Tempo Storm not bringing the Monty the last time, which seemed to be somewhat of a downfall for them. The Monty play has worked super, super well for them so far. I'd really like to see them go back to it. I mean, it is the match point. I mean, it is match point here. You know, this is just the time to, you know, pull out the one round strat, get your round, and move on to the next map.
The good news is, while it is match point, they do still have that deficit to work off of, so not going to have any reason to panic as of yet to close this game down here. Still 3 more rounds before eUnited ties this up. Potentially takes us into an OT situation. This should be a fairly standard setup looking at the operators that United have brought to the table, and as well as some of the initial reinforcements that are coming out here. No reason to believe why United would be varying anything from the standard formula by the way things look there. You got Rexon upstairs, of course, just reinforcing the hatches, and besides that, we're just waiting for Tempo to spawn out at some point in the next 10 seconds here to see if they can indeed close it down against the basement attack.
5 seconds remaining.
Well, last time that we saw them attack the basement, we had Mark on Fuse. This time going to be onto the Zofia, which, let's be honest, it's going to be more effective overall than the Fuse inside of that area, especially on this site. I mean, no vertical play or anything like we talked about previously, but now that he's on the Zofia, not only having the concussions, but as well as the impacts to assist with this shield play, going to be very, very influential. Partner that with Creators on the EMPs with Thatcher. This means that they can get rid of quite a bit of this utility simply by disabling what they have available and then using their utility to get rid of these shield points. So as long as they're able to actually destroy these shields for eUnited, this could be a pretty strong take. We'll see how Tempo wants to handle it, though. There are 2 options here. They don't necessarily have to go for the construction take like we're so used to people seeing. They can always go back for that freezer main stairs take. And by this drone coming down by Dream right now, it seems that that is the main plan for right now. Seeing what the initial information is and then making the play off of that.
You can see Mark already getting himself into a forward position pretty early on here. He'll self-drone himself a little bit around the corner here. In fact, he does spot the player holding right around it. He's hoping that the shotgun will actually take things down and that he might be able to counteract that with a swing of his own. But Alfama's smart about this. Alfama knows that that's more than likely going to happen if he takes out the barricade. So now that he hears the hatch getting breached, he himself is going to fall back, and that will take away the potential for an opener there for Tempo or United, as that battle will move itself to a later point in the round.
Well, Tempo Storm definitely dedicated to this freezer main take now, as they've dedicated 2 Selmas to the lobby hatch and have gotten open security. So eUnited now knows where this is coming from, at least initially. Obviously, things can change. See if they try and shift any of their utility around to compensate for what Tempo want to try and do. eUnited, very reserved inside of this round. No real rotations coming out from them at all. Just want to see what they can do up against Tempo when this execute comes through, I suppose. Nitro Cell ends up getting eaten up by some bullets on Yeti. Yeti not having the best showing either right now. Currently 2-1-9.
Nice little flick onto the drone there from Yeti. He's once again trying to deny as much drone intel as possible. Quite a bit of it having been gone, too. You only got about, I believe, 4 or 5 drones left on the attacking side here. Mark trying to see if he once again can line up anything. United have gotten smart about this. They know that Tempo are kind of feeling themselves right now, so they try not to give them any fights if they can help it. Grixer establishes a nice one for himself there as he swings into the closet partially in order to take out Mark after he'd been trying to line up an angle for such a long time here. Down to 30 seconds. It's starting to look a lot like the last round looked for Tempo, which is not a good sign for them here. They've been unable to set anything up for themselves in the early round, and they're about to be forced into the setup for a second round in a row. Just like that, Grixer goes back out to the closet peak again, takes down Jarvis, Kansan's going to be able to find one as well. Dream did trade onto Yeti, but besides that, you still have 4 players up right now for eUnited. Make it 3 after that death. But regardless, it's Creators. He can't even push into the site due to the smoke barrier in front of him. And there you have it. Alfama will finish off the job, and eUnited will net themselves yet another round here as they take number 10.
Okay, well, the good news is eUnited still in the fight. Need only 2 rounds to tie this up and push it to overtime on Oregon. But the bad news is the only 2 sites that they've played so far in their defensive half is basement and dorms. And those are obviously the only 2 things that they've gotten rounds on. So we're going to be going to something new for this site. Kitchen Dining Hall's the selection for eUnited, and we're already seeing some fresh things. Rexon's going to flash the Oryx and then shift on over to the Mira. So possible 6 pick, but we'll talk about that if we get there. As for that previous round, though, a botch to execute from Tempo Storm after they just stand flat-footed after getting their initial checklist done. They get the hatches open, start getting pressure down inside a freezer. People start, finagling around with laundry, but the first pick happens onto Mark, and as soon as Mark gets picked, it just seems like everything discombobulates for them. Nothing really getting done, no one trying to move forward to get any of these picks, simply just waiting for eUnited to strike first, and that's exactly what they did. They killed almost every single member of Tempo Storm before anyone had any rebuttal.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
Taking a look to see if there's going to be anything crazy going on with the setup here for eUnited. It's again looking very, very similar to setups we've seen on this site in the past. You've got Alfama, of course, setting up the extended hold over into the showers here. And they give quite a bit of roaming capability to the eUnited players, while, of course, remaining very close to the site. Allows for them to delay quite a bit if Tempo goes down the kind of obvious execute route and tries to take things from small tower. Away from that, of course, you're still going to have the upstairs setup too, since there will be even more extended roaming presence up here from eUnited as they try to deny any of those top-down angles that Tempo, I'm sure, will want to try and gain for themselves. Actually, they may not want to. I'm looking at it now. They don't have a whole lot of soft breach. That might be kind of out of the book for them on this round.
Honestly, more than likely.
Yeah.
What this is probably going to be, I would assume, with the lineup is probably a meeting execute. I mean, like, mainly because of this right here. There is so much utility dedicated upstairs. There's barbed wire here, vertical play for people underneath to handle the window. That's exactly what Alfama's going to be doing. And then make it 3 ADSs, as well as Rexon with all of his discs. So count them up, people. That's 11 throwables if Rexon has all of his discs upstairs. So that's a lot of stuff going on here. But the problem that could happen is Thatcher's on the board. So, I mean, if they EMP this wall, it's just kind of over. He just kind of dies. So that would really, really suck. But he still has to worry about the discs.
So I think a well-placed frag grenade might take out all of those magnets as well if they strategically throw the frag grenade. I highly doubt Tempo will do that, but still. Just to keep that in mind there. He's also got that risk to play with as well. Dream's going to move in here with the Montaigne, sees him, and kind of locks him in as a result of that. Dream more than likely has spotted the holes in the ground, so he knows not to fully step in. And off of that, Mark's going to hope that they're kind of overcommitted to that top-down angle, and then he might be able to get a free pick at the door. Not going to find it, though, and in fact loses about 25 HP from just trying to do so. Alfama doing actually a really good job of controlling the scenario right now and making sure that Rexon, to be honest, doesn't have to do much. He can just be a body that scares Tempo, and that's all he really needs to be right now.
Yeah, this is a super strong cross here held by eUnited. Grixer's got the door, so Mark's not able to peek, along with Alfama underneath with that shotgun as well as the smokes to assist. Yeti's going to be able to pick up 2 big kills, though. The Monty off the board as well as crazy. AK-12 gone as well as the rest of those Selma charges. So no more hard breach for the offense. It's all going to be the funnel game, all except for the main wall that now has a big hole in it. So eUnited looking pretty good going into the last minute here. Still plenty of utility to deny plant as well, and they don't have to worry about a very aggressive push here from Tempo Storm that's partnered with a shield. Still, obviously, Tempo Storm's going to want to get into their face, but they have so many crosses to worry about. It's Creators to start us off here. He's able to knock down Kanza, but Yeti with the immediate refrag. That's a triple kill here for him on the round. And this is something we've needed to see. Make it 4 for him as Yeti's going for the ace. It's all down to Jarvis now inside of this 1v4. Yeti with very minimal HP, swings wide, gets burnt alive by the ARX. Not the funnest gun-to-gun fight in the world, though. Jarvis, 5-2 and 6, just spinning around inside of shower. Does indeed have the case, so can put a diffuser down if worse comes to worse. Peeks inside, but doesn't see Grixer inside of security, who quickly dispatches him as eUnited stays in this one.
Great setup from eUnited there, and obviously a valiant attempt from the last man standing over on Tempo. Just way too much to ask of that player that late in the round. Beautiful stuff from Yeti on his personal hold to the inside, but you got to give credit to Alfama as well for beautifully holding that double wall just at the edge of the site going into small tower. and fending off, more saving his teammate upstairs too, and making sure that that hold was successful on top of being able to weigh the extra aggression that was coming in from the door at the same time. Beautifully played there by eUnited, and like we were saying before, despite the fact they start out down, they are definitely not out of the game just yet. Tempo has had themselves map point for a good 2 to 3 rounds now, and has been looking for that closeout. Well, it's got to show up here now. They've wasted the other 2 rounds, and this must be it. Otherwise, we go to 3 final rounds to settle the first map.
It really seems as though eUnited's defense is much more lively than their offense is. Tempo's been able to get some picks on their offense and produce something, but as for eUnited, they really just seemed disoriented when it was their offensive time. But right now, Tempo Storm, even though they've been able to produce something, still have only gotten 1 round. eUnited, a very, very worthy opponent when it comes to attacking their defensive setups here on Oregon so far. And Yeti stepping up finally inside of this series. 6-1 and 11 right now, but it doesn't mean that those kills that did happen weren't extremely high impact, especially inside of that last round. So eUnited choose to go to dorms for their very last defense inside of regulation. No shield here for Tempo Storm, so going to be going back to mostly soft destruction with a flavor of denial as well as some hard destruction. We got Dream and Crazy picking up that hard destruction, as well as Jarvis on the EMP man himself, Thatcher, something we don't get to see too often.
So quite a few members here of Tempo trying to work their way over towards spawn. Yeti's also going to take some heat right off the bat too. I think possibly some bad timing when he tries to go and peek near one of the windows, or possibly got caught trying to go up the ladder as well. Thank you, Mr. Observer, for spotting that for us. Yeti now at 50 HP is still going to try to play up on T3. Tempo more than likely know he's here though. This is not the first time we've had a T3 play in this map. So they're going to check that one more than likely just off of principle. Whether they'll notice the other player in T2, that's the other question. Well, it's kind of going to be obvious now due to Rex and shooting out that drone. They'll be very well aware of the fact that someone is watching that window and that it's more than likely not the T3 player. Start to waste away the magnets here as well. He throws another one in. I believe it might have got caught by the frag grenade because I think he threw it a tad too early, so that may be a bit unfortunate. That was indeed the case, but nonetheless, they're continuing to delay as the first minute of the round is now gone.
This poor Frisbee getting blown up. But Rexon going to dip back into the attic and leave Yeti on his lonesome all the way upstairs inside of T3. Not the worst thing in the world, though. He can still delay so much time here. Already 1 minute and 10 seconds in, as I believe Mark begins to prime a grenade. We'll see if he ends up bouncing one off the wall here, but obviously not a grenade in his hand just yet. EMP comes in, not able to do anything about it, and the frag grenade soon to follow. Let's see if it's able to do any damage. Not very much damage to Yeti, surprisingly enough, as Tempo continue to try and deal with him, but no, it's actually Dream from underneath that takes him out. That's 3 frag grenades dedicated to a singular player, as Yeti decimates half the timer inside of the 3rd tier in tower.
Pretty much starting to get upset. He's like, let me handle this real quick. Took him out. Thankfully, deals with the threat at T3, but as you said, wastes a lot of utility in the process, and not just utility, but time as well. They're down to only 1 minute remaining, and they've gotten virtually nothing on the map control side of things here. Yes, they have big tower. They seem to have a small amount of control over towards either garage or the front door as well. But that's not really a lot when you're trying to execute towards kids here. They still have a lot of work to do, and not a whole lot of time left to do it. Dream, of course, will move up to that attic window and quickly take out the reinforced shield that's sitting there. He has the torch to make quick work of that. Crazy will also enter master bedroom door and start to take down the walls that lead over into Ames as well.
Well, the good news is even though the timer does seem scary at 35 seconds, that's still so much time inside of siege time. So Tempo Storm, not exactly par for the course, but do now have the angles open as well as the presence around the area for these cutoffs, so that eUnited are going to have to contest these gunfights over and over again. Pre-placed Nitro Cell for default, plant for Grixer, so just going to wait for the call and eventually blow that up when they inevitably go for it. Nice swing out here from the smoke, but it's actually Dream that swings in through Trophy. He's actually able to get a quad kill. What was that from Dream? It's all down to Rexon now as the plant goes off. Tempo Storm playing no games. Creator, the nail in the coffin in round 12 as they send us to Clubhouse off the back of some very, very quick-witted play by Tempo Storm.
He evolved from the Dream clap to the Dream scream, as it's a very much deserved victory screech there from the members of Tempo. They take a very dominant opening half. Obviously some bumps in the road